All right. I hope all of you enjoyed my sharing and pick something back. So now it's Q&A session. I saw a list of questions, so I'll answer them one by one. And of course, if there's more coming, do put them in the Q&A so I don't miss it. It's in the chat group, all right? Okay, Eric asks, my wife has just started a business, and I'd like to get your view of what support you find valuable or have been valuable from your family and friends, in addition to the faith and guidance from God. Um, the support I found most valuable is actually my community. And when I first started, just to share, I told you guys I was sleeping in church when I first entered the first church. Pretty much my teammates was my church. I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't want to go to church because I always thought that he only blessed some people, right? I didn't felt belonged. And interestingly, God brought me very faith-based Christians as my teammates. And every day we just prayed together. And they will always send me Bible verse. So I think having teammates with similar faith at the starting journey, even though part-time or full-time, could really, really help you a lot. And that was the support I found very valuable at the starting phase. Because I remember there was this one particular image my first co-founder always tell me, everything will be okay, it will all be well, right? Nothing can ever get, if something is not okay now, it's fine because it's not the end. So that was a very interesting quote that, it's not a biblical verse, but it was something that kept me going. And also, of course, all this Bible verse and prayers. Okay, the next question. Carson with us. Did you and do you have a partner or mentor whom you turn to who shared your journey? Somebody who will help you accountable to your commitments and promises to God. To be honest with you, I think I've been very blessed with mentors. I found my second tech partner because of my mentor. I went up to him and I said, I can't run a tech company with no software experience. That code is like alien to me. And that's how he brought his friend to me. Not only that, I think one of the key thing that stood out was my first mentor, my first business that I got from NUS Enterprise, always thankful to NUS. It's also a Christian. And he always said, at the end of the day, God is here with you. I pray for you, okay? Even though even though the problem can be something different. But having that mentor to pray for me, and we started this young gatekeepers like entrepreneurship group, which really helped to push to have us just believing that things will always turn out better and hearing the different experiences that everyone had. So I had mentors and partners to help me to get there. So for somebody to keep me accountable to my commitments and promises, not really, but I think I do. I think at the end of the day, it's our own ownership. Because I remember one thing, when the business went down, when everybody left, I realized in life there's only one person you need to account to. It's God. The question is, when you go up to heaven, is he going to say, "Oh well, done, good and faithful servant," or is he going, or you go somewhere else, right? So I realized that's the only one I need to be accountable to. So it's a lot of my own ownership. Next, how do you stay focused on the business? Do you ever wonder if other businesses' idea may work better than the one you have chosen? Before the downfall, I can tell you I was dabbling in so many different things. I actually had 4 businesses set up. But after the downfall and God gave me this value-based selling with technology, I stick to that. Because that was the promise that he spoke to me about. And and I also learned one thing, right? That it's very hard to be good in everything. If it's hard, then be good in one thing. And if that is, and you know that this is what God wants you to do, if everything will just fall in place by itself. Yeah, so that's something I've learned myself. Richard said, you make it seem so simple. How you actually know God came true for you? Actually, remember I said, initially for the past 2 years, I never thought he did. He never answered single my prayer. Maybe he did, I also don't know. So is it simple? No, but it was really through my lowest when I was left at weeds of nothingness that he became so alive to me because he had no one else to lean on, right? So how I know God came through you? Actually, also through a lot of people. Sometimes at night, I remember this one day when I was running out in the dark, and I said, God, I know that you want me business, but it's still very tough. Can you just bring me an angel, please? You remember you told me got angel in my life one, right? Can you just bring me an angel? And suddenly out of the blue, right? This lady who I haven't talked to for a year suddenly messaged me, hey Charmain, how are you? So So she then became my past year's spiritual mentor, guiding me Bible study. So yeah, through people and through experiences. Carson, during the period of depression and during your downturns, do you feel that you had to absolutely hit rock bottom before God picked you up? I wouldn't know that if it's because I hit rock bottom. But I think it's only when I hit rock bottom that I know how to surrender and let go. Because I think in reality, I think there's still a lot of me that still wants to be in control, right? Strategically, analytically, let's solve this problem. But it's only when you're left with like no choice, nothing, people left, no money, no nothing, right? Then you really had to surrender. So I guess maybe if you're willing to surrender earlier, maybe better lah. So I'm not sure whether is it based on rock bottom, but I think the word is surrender. Let go and let God. Okay. Sorry, done. Next one. How do you deal with incongruence, the need to hit a sales target versus the one to do the right things, or the incongruence of selling as a means of helping instead of earning money? Wow, this is a very tough question, but I could relate to what you say. I've always remembered one where so actually past 2 years things are very tough, because and I always see it as like not karma, but like like the way whereby things are not like I really had to rebuild everything, right? So this year, interestingly, like I said, God really provides. So our business actually has grown, even though there's COVID. And if you ask me, I didn't see the benefit and the fruits of it at the start. I mean, I went back to value-based selling for the past 1-2 years, right? But results only came 2 years later. So if you ask me, I think it's really about asking, is this what God will approve me to do? Is what God will approve me to do? Then if he says okay, this is his will, then do lah. Even if you don't have the results right away, right? Just have faith lor. That's all I had. I only had faith. And of course, with that faith, 2 years down the road, I'm starting to reap the fruits. So if you go back to remember the story of planting a tree, no trees grown in a day. It takes time to slowly brew. We always want instant gratification. We always want instant results. But it takes time to grow a good tree. So I think that's patience and just believing that if you're doing the right things. But of course, don't be taken advantage of, which is like you do everything for free. At the end of the day, if you are a business, you need to make money, right? We also got to be steward of our time. Now, next question, why are you being an entrepreneur? There is no playbook to follow. When things doesn't seem to work out, how do you know whether it's time to pivot or to persevere? Last time, I will tell you, right, if you do a financial projections, if the financial projections don't say correct, right, but not enough revenue and the market doesn't look like it, just give up lah. That's my last time answer lah. But now, I think the question is, recently I've been practicing this called, God, show me 3 signs. Or if this is not your path, close the door, just close the door. Yeah. And somehow it happened to work. So I'm not sure if it work, but you can try. Hey God, if this is supposed to pivot, you show me 3 signs. Or if I'm supposed to move on, close the door. Yeah, I think that's how I kind of a bit use. I mean, now it's really a lot leaving God to lead me in the decision, especially when it's very critical. Or even maybe praying for mentors to guide me or people with similar experiences so that I know if this is the path that I want to continue on. Yeah, so that's why I use question. Richard, is it better to have a business partner or to go on your own? To be honest, I've always wished I have a partner, but God is my best partner now, right? So even though I don't have a co-founder now, I do have a team supporting me. I'm very blessed with this team who is working very hard, trying to achieve our year-on-year goals. So even without a partner, as long as and really like in all the critical decisions, even my business plan, right, the small and the big things, God, correct or not? Is this financial projection correct? So very interestingly, when we close the year, I'm pretty much at 90% of what I set forth at the start of the year. Never thought I could, all in the past 2 years, our goals never achieved one. Yeah, so I would say that leaving even the financial projections, business plans to God. Yeah, and therefore, do you need a partner? Let God be your partner. How do you show your faith to non-believers in your team? Do you evangelize to them during the course of work? Yes, I do. Actually, they also know. You can ask some of my teammates, right? They always say, hey, Charmain only have one thing called faith. Because a lot of things she don't know how to figure out. Something very funny, right? So I'm in the tech industry. Sometimes the server might slow down or face an issue. I think back 1-2 years ago, the server actually even broke down. And then I downsized my tech team. So I was like, oh no, how to solve? Even my tech team also be lost. Like, how come the server got this issue? I was like, cannot. If the server got issue, are my clients affected? Okay, I don't know how to solve for you. I pray for you. So I prayed. Somehow or another, we found a resolution to it. And I come from a geo tech background. So if you ask me, I know it sounds very unbelievable, but it really happens, like God really give you the answer in your mind. So how do you show faith? By your own experience. When they see that what you thought is impossible becomes possible, simply because you pray and have faith. And I tell them upfront, I'm praying for a solution. We pray together if you can. Yeah. Okay. So this is
Charmain, how
all the
about one
questions.
question? How about one question from me? How do you know if a question is from God? Sorry, how do you know if a dream is sorry? How do you know if a dream is from God?
I do not know. It's a question from God.
How do you know if a dream is from God? Because you mentioned in your journey, right, that you got a dream from God, and then God told you that these are the 5 pillars, these are the things that you ought to do. Right? How do you know that's from God? How is there a deep conviction, or did God speak to you through some signs and wonders? You know? How are you so sure to commit 5 to 10 years of your life to that business plan?
Okay, so I think my answer is I've never when I first got that five modules blueprint, right? I never credit God lah. I was like, okay, this is the business I'll run. But now I credit God because I saw it happening, right? I really see that God really made what I set forth initially as a plan become a reality. So now how do I know it's from God? Because I mean, to be honest, I connected the dot backwards. But what allowed me to continue on this journey was actually the word about value-based selling with technology. It could be 5 more, it could be 5 pillars, it could be 10 pillars. That could just be the thing to keep us started. But that particular moment when I got told me value-based selling technology, and just early this year in January, I decided to take New Year's Eve very different. I went to a silent room and prayed and just had time alone with God. And he spoke something else about like the countries, like number of countries to enter into. And I think in that whole sharing, it's like he keeps showing you growth avenues. So I believe, and back to this question, right? Having faith, because it's like how I see life was very interesting, right? It's like a jigsaw puzzle. God had already had this whole jigsaw puzzle for you, but he has to slowly piece them one by one. So and if there's any point in time the jigsaw puzzle don't fit in, you will know it. So I guess it's just continuing on this journey, walking on the waters, and continue to complete the jigsaw puzzle he has set forth when I'm born. Yeah.
Okay. So if it's like, maybe a follow-up question. So if it's like in the beginning, you weren't 100% sure that it's from God, but you found out along the way, right? So did you find out before you hit that valley experience, or did you find out after God delivered you from that valley experience, that this is actually what God wanted you to do?
So along the way, right, of course, during that period of time, to be honest with you, it's a lot of my own personality that led me to continue. So what I meant is this. I'm somebody, so what got me back into rebuilding the business and not give up, besides the fact that God spoke to me, was also my accountability to the customers that have bought from us. I always believe that if somebody trusts you for something, keep their trust lah. Right? I mean, even if it takes a slightly longer time to deliver, ideally, you work towards it. At least you show that you are committed to doing what you say, right? So staying accountable. So I think God also kind of put in certain characteristic traits in me. So I that was something that kept me going. But what kept me to push through new frontiers was really, I think, hearing from God about the greater growth. So I remember during my downtime, I think one of the questions was, how do you fight off negative thoughts, right? Which I also answer. So during that depression period, I said, God, I'm somebody that needs to see a vision. I can't see that vision clearly. I know you spoke about value promised land. You gave me that word value-based selling and technology, but what does it mean? How do I get there? How does it look like? So I went to altar call in my church, and I went to find that prophetic pastor. I remember he always prophesy about people. Okay, hey pastor. So there was a few. Right? I went up straight to him. Can you pray for me? And so he saw like, and I went to a few pastors and they all saw similar things lah, about growth, about turf, about like eagle soaring.
So they
And they even
saw a vision that's meant for you. They saw a vision of an eagle, or a vision meant for
soaring.
you.
Yeah.
Is it?
So very similar. One saw eagle soaring, one saw me climbing the stairs. He said tough road lah, but you have to climb right? So I guess these were the things that led me to keeping my faith and continue moving upwards
Okay. Okay.
in
Maybe
my
we just
dream.
take one last question, because I believe we have overrun by 1 minute already. So we just take one last
Okay.
question. Um, maybe Charmaine, you just pick from the list.
Okay, actually I answered David's one half already lah. So what's your advice for
Okay.
people who want to be tech entrepreneur but do not have background in tech? I think you can always like, so how I started, I also don't come tech background, right? I think find you can always do a prototype first. You can outsource or offshore just a prototype first until you need to be market ready and very certain about your business idea. Then you start building your tech team. Yeah. So you don't really need. I mean, I used to think that you really need a CTO, but I think what you need is to validate the idea first, and then when it's validated, use that validation and hire tech people. Yeah. Okay, I've answered all
Okay.
the questions.
Yes. Okay. So we've come to the end of today's session. It was a really great sharing from Charmaine about her journey of faith, how the Lord grew her along the way. And I'm sure many of us have been very encouraged by her journey and her testimony in the Lord. So we just want to thank you everyone for attending tonight's session. We have come to the end already. So that's the end of tonight's session. If you would like to find out more information about GBN Marketplace Ministry, do visit our website at gbn.sg. And also GBN is largely a volunteer-run organization, so we welcome any free will offering. You may do so via PayNow, via this QR code and UEN code that you see on the screen right here. So with that being said, I wish all of you good night. Have a blessed rest of the week. God bless.